So let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of a theologian who completely reshaped the mission of global Christianity with a metaphor about an airplane? Well, today we're going to dive into the incredible life and ideas of C. René Padilla. He was a pastor and thinker from Latin America whose work just fundamentally changed how millions of Christians see their purpose in the world. And it all kicks off with this really simple but powerful image. This right here, this was Padilla's central image. So here was his big idea. The Christian mission, what the church is supposed to actually do in the world, is like an airplane. And to fly, it needs two wings. One wing, that's evangelism, proclaiming the good news. But the other wing, just as crucial, is social action, demonstrating that good news by fighting for justice and caring for the poor. For Padilla, you absolutely could not have one without the other.
Exactly. It can't fly, right? It just spins around and around in circles, going nowhere. And that's precisely the problem Padilla saw in the evangelical world at the time. He saw this version of Christianity that was all about saving individual souls, which is great, but it often totally ignored the really pressing realities of poverty, oppression, and injustice all around them. It was a one-winged gospel that, in his eyes, was never ever going to get off the ground. So where did this powerful idea even come from?
Well, to really get where Padilla was coming from, you have to understand his life. I mean, these convictions of his, they weren't dreamed up in some quiet, cozy library. No, they were forged in the fire of real-world suffering and exclusion. Okay, so picture this. Padilla was born in Ecuador, but as a toddler, his family moves to Colombia to plant churches. Now, this was a staunchly Roman Catholic society, and being an evangelical family was, well, it wasn't an easy path. As a religious minority, they faced intense persecution. He eventually made his way to the U.S. for college, but he went right back to a Latin America that was just wrestling with huge political turmoil, military dictatorships, and unbelievable economic inequality. And when he says consequences, he wasn't kidding. We're talking severe. His family's homes were firebombed. There were assassination attempts on him and his father. Get this, as a 7-year-old boy, he had scars from stones being thrown at him, just for trying to go to school. So for him, this wasn't some abstract theological debate. This was his actual lived reality. So all of this poverty, this violence, it forged this huge, life-defining question inside him. He wasn't just wondering if the gospel had anything to say about these things. He wanted to know how. How does it all connect? And that one question would eventually lead him to a global stage and a showdown that would change everything. Okay, so let's fast forward a bit. The year is 1974. The place? Lausanne, Switzerland. This is the scene of the International Congress on World Evangelization, a really pivotal moment in modern church history, and the exact moment Padilla's ideas truly caught fire.
Now, we're not talking about some small conference here. This was a massive deal. Almost 2,500 evangelical leaders from over 150 countries were all there in one place. It was this huge forum, mostly funded by the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, and everyone saw it as a defining moment for the future of global evangelism. And right into this arena steps René Padilla.
You can just feel the tension in the air from this quote, can't you? This comes from his daughter, remembering what her mom told the kids on the very day of his speech. They knew. They knew he wasn't there just to say all the polite things that the powerful Western leaders wanted to hear. No, he was there to deliver a challenge. And wow, what a challenge it was. He stood up on that global stage and called out what he saw as a deep, deep flaw in the missionary movement. He basically argued that American evangelicals were just exporting their own culture, their consumerism, this American way of life, a gospel completely divorced from social responsibility, instead of the whole, complete message of Jesus. It was a direct, provocative call for repentance. So how did that go over? Well, the reaction was immediate and absolutely electric. The editor of Crusade magazine said his speech literally set the Congress alight. He got the longest round of applause of any speaker at the entire event, and even secular media like Time magazine pointed to it as one of the most provocative moments of the whole meeting. He had definitely struck a nerve. Okay, so what was this big idea that caused such a stir? Let's break down the term that Padilla is famous for, the one that really captures his two-winged vision for the church. It's called Mission Integral, or integral mission.
And you're going to love this. The origin of the term is wonderfully simple, so down to earth. It all started with bread. Padilla's wife, Catherine, used to bake their own bread. And in Spanish, whole wheat bread is pan integral. It's whole, it's complete, with nothing important taken out. And right there, Padilla had his light bulb moment. He took this everyday idea of whole bread and applied it directly to Christian mission. Misión integral is a whole mission, a comprehensive mission, one where all the essential ingredients are present. Nothing is left out, the whole shebang. So, at its core, here's what integral mission boils down to. It's the understanding that proclaiming the gospel with our words and demonstrating the gospel with our actions, seeking justice, caring for the poor, making peace, they are not two separate things. They are absolutely essential, indivisible parts of the exact same mission. One isn't more important than the other. They're like two sides of the very same coin. And this right here, this shows the very separation Padilla was fighting so hard against. You've got evangelism on one side, focused only on saving the individual soul, often seen as the real work, right? And then way over on the other side, you have social action, which was often treated as secondary, something you do after the important work is done. Padilla just stood up and said, no, this is a false choice, a dangerous dichotomy. And this quote from that famous speech just nails it. Jesus Christ came not just to save my soul, but to form a new society. For Padilla, the goal wasn't just about getting individuals into heaven someday. It was about bringing a piece of heaven, its justice, its peace, its wholeness, down to earth, right here and right now. So, the big question is, did Padilla's two-winged plane ever really get off the ground? Let's take a look and see if his idea truly took flight. Right after the Congress, riding this incredible wave of momentum, Padilla makes this super bold declaration. He basically announces the death of the dichotomy, the end of this false separation between evangelism and social action. Now, maybe it was a bit premature, but he had for sure delivered a fatal blow. And the proof is right there in the pudding. I mean, look at this. John Stott, one of the most respected evangelical leaders in the world, publicly reversed his position to support Padilla's view. Today, over 500 missions and relief organizations, including giants like World Vision and Compassion International, have adopted the integral mission framework. And then, in 2010, 36 years after his speech, the Lausanne movement itself officially baked integral mission into its foundational documents. The idea had gone completely mainstream. Which brings us to one final and I think crucial question. René Padilla challenged the church of his day to fly with two wings. He forced a really tough conversation about what faith actually looks like in a world full of injustice. So as we wrap this up, it's worth asking ourselves, in our world today, is our mission whole? Is the plane flying with both wings? Or is it still just spinning in circles? It's a question Padilla's legacy leaves for all of us to answer.